a couple of things we need. One is this cable right here, and this is what plugs into the Kodak Zi8. And by the way, if you don't have a Kodak Zi8, go buy one. They're awesome. Anyway, this plugs into the Kodak Zi8 external microphone plug-in. But you'll notice when you look at the back of this that it doesn't have a small plug-in. There's either the old, what they call phono or RCA type connector, and then a large microphone connector. So what I did is I found this component, and here, let me just see if I can do a close-up for you here. Okay, so there is the connector, and notice it's got a small one, and then this is what the connectors look like for the big one, or for the little one. So this just sits right on top of one of these, so it's a converter. So now you see I've got the one that would go into the Kodak Zi8 on the left, and then the big one that'll go into the back of the receiver on the right. So while we're right here, might as well try a live test. What we'll do is, and I don't know if you can see this, I mean you won't be able to see all of it, of course, because I'm oops, yeah, don't worry, everything's under control. Okay, so now I've got, let me just lift this up and see if you can see this very well. So I've got this plugged into the back here. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to plug this into my Kodak Zi8. And we'll make sure this is turned on. Oh, and before we do that, let me pull this out. I turn my, oh good, it says it's receiving. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'll just clip this onto my self here. And then now we should be on the external microphone. And let me just turn this down a little bit and you'll be able to see I've got the battery plugged in there. And so through its little wire, circuitous route, it's plugged into the back of the receiver here. And then I've got the Zi8 cord, which you can see kind of dangling here, that goes into the back of the receiver. And so far, so good. The receiver, I've got strong power lights. Let me lift up the antenna. And then here's my garage. And I'm going to go walk outside and kind of across the street and see if this is working and how well it works and whether you can hear me or not. So anyway, and since the nice thing is that even though I'm walking way out here, you should still be able to hear me just fine. But the component doing the transmitting, which is this little microphone that I'm wearing, that component is the one that should consume more power. The component doing the receiving, all it has to do is take in the signal that it gets back and turn that into audio. So it's consuming a little power, but it's the broadcasting that the microphone does that consumes the most power. So that's why I'm hoping that just the little 9-volt battery might actually last for an hour with that thing plugged in, and maybe even more. So now there are my kids staring out the window at me. So I'll be real curious now to see. I didn't think it would be this easy, but and the nice thing is that if the 9-volt battery lasts a long time, then then like 6 AA's will last even longer. All right, so let me come back and we'll have a look here. Yeah, the LEDs are strong, and I'm going to mute now. I'm going to mute out and out, in and out. So test the microphone. Great, and now I'll run inside and see how this footage turned out, and we'll come back and report in just a minute. As you know by now, watching the video, the test was successful. and we've just got things plugged into a 9-volt battery right now. Okay, so we've got some parts that we wanted, that we needed to put this together. I've got these, and I'll give you close-ups of these, but these are our battery compartments for AA batteries. This is the battery connector for the 9-volt battery. And then these are telephone butt connectors. And you'll remember from our initial experiment, we were just using these little roach clips. So that's what we're going to try to replace. And this, of course, is our little power connector. So let's get right into it. Okay, when you're powering something, you've got a couple of options. One that we were using is a 9-volt battery. And the 9-volt battery has a certain amount of power in it. So in other words, you know, I mean, batteries go dead after a while, right? So size is generally a good indicator of what, you know, how long something's going to last. Here we've got our case, I'm sorry, this is our wireless receiver, and what we want to be able to do is use some Velcro to attach these batteries on here so that it works as a single unit, right? Something like that. Now, it might look a little ugly, I mean, you know, and you could attach it onto the bottom or onto the top. I'd probably say the top, just because you've got these nice little things on the bottom that you use to set it down. So anyway, that's the idea behind these, and then they're not quite so ugly. You don't actually have to see the batteries exposed. So, okay, how do we do this first connection? Well, you know, for something like this where the amount of recording time is going to be important, I really think that the best option is to use these two AA battery kits. So we open these up, and now there's one other benefit, and I'll point it out here in just a minute. And I'm going to need a little screwdriver. Let me grab one. Oh, okay, already had them out. Great, so you need to unscrew this so the battery compartment's a little more secure, and then you slide it out, and your batteries will go in here, and then you've got your connectors right here. Now with this other one, the case that holds 4 batteries, and online you have to look around. You might be able to find one that you can buy that just holds 6. I just went to my local Radio Shack, and they had all this stuff in the store, so I didn't have to order online and wait. I was able to just get it, you know, right here locally in my town. So if you've got a Radio Shack, then you've got everything you need to do this. And I'll give you a printed list as well. Anyway, so this one pops off. This one has these little, I don't know if you can see those very well, but they latch on right there. Now, the other thing this has, if you turn it over, and I don't know, here, let's see if the lighting is right. There's an on-off switch right here. Okay, and that on-off switch will allow you to conserve batteries. You know, when you're using this thing. So let's look at how we would wire this up. And this is really simple. To wire these together, all you do, here, I don't have to put that back on just yet. You have to connect these so that they're what they say, they call it in line. And it doesn't really matter which, you know, ones you connect, but you have to connect the red of one to the black of another. And what that's going to do is leave you a red out of one and a black out of the other. And with those, you'll be able to you know, power your unit. So let's find the easiest way. Maybe one of these little things. Okay, so you certainly could use, see this little thing? You've probably seen one of these, and this will just screw on the top, like so. But let's, I always prefer, if I can, I always prefer to use one of these types of butt connectors. Okay, so now the way you do this, you just put this wire inside like this, and okay, and you crimp it down. So see, I just squished it down. There's a little metal casing, so now it's in there nice and tight. And then I take the red from the other one, because remember, you want to connect the red of one to the black of another. And red is generally positive and black is generally negative. And then I put my pliers around here. And just so you can see, I've just got my pliers around the edge here, and I make sure that the wire is pushed in there tight, and then I squeeze that down. I just crimp that metal around there. So now those are connected. So I think you can see there how those are connected. And that leaves me with these two right here, this red and this black. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these, and remember we worked out last time around, and we'll double check this real quick, that the striped line on this connector is the one that they expect to be positive, and the solid line was the one that they expect to be negative. So the way we checked that was we took the original power plug that we used to that we cut apart, and we checked it. So we took this, we plugged it in, and then we checked the voltage on these using a multimeter. Now I don't know if this is way over your heads. It's really easy if you think about it. All you do is you plug that thing in, you touch one part to this and one part to this. Now, I mean, be careful with electricity, it can blow you up, but generally if you're working with these little plugs like this, the 9 volts it's not gonna do a lot of damage to you. It's pretty easy. Or you know, pretty mild, I'll just say. Okay, so now let's just double check. I'm gonna plug or attach to the positive, the red, and to the negative, the black, and then I'm going to plug this in to the back here, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over and push, and you saw the red LED power light come on right there. Now I'll turn it off. Okay, so we do have the polarity right. And what I'll do is I'll just take the red off. We can disconnect these two now. I usually just give this a little bit of a spin and then cut it down so it's not too long. I think you can see there about how much I've got. And I grab one of these little butt connectors. Okay. Slide the, again, I spin this just so that there aren't a bunch of little frayed wires sticking out from the side. Slide that in, like so. And then, again, you can kind of see how I got that. And then I crimp that down so that it squeezes around. And then I always check to make sure that it's good and tight. So this one is my positive, which means I want to connect that to the out of my battery case here. I connect it to the red. So